and welcome to my first Carl von Miller drafting video. Here I'm going to show you a process that I go through to build a block cube drafting format. I like to do a 6-player draft, so the packs end up being 18 rares, 54 uncommons, 198 commons. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to magiccards.info and do an advanced search showing cards as checklist, sort by color name. That might get me off to a good start. I'm going to do a lot of additional sorting in the end, so the sort that I start out with isn't that important. Or actually, I've already done this this search and then imported the results. It took about a minute and a half to 2 minutes for the information to go into the spreadsheet. Do a search so it pulls up all the cards here, and then I select this range, go Control C to copy, go into my spreadsheet program. I'm using OpenOffice, and then Command V paste. Yeah, like I said, it took a few minutes, so I restarted the video, and I'm going to show you from this point. From here, because of all these little icons that aren't really related to the rest of what's happening in the spreadsheet, I'm going to save as a comma-separated values spreadsheet, CSV file, and put it here. Untitled is fine because I'm going to be creating a new file from this anyways. Keep current format. I'm sure all that is great. Only the active sheet was saved. That's just awesome. So open document, go back to that spreadsheet, and it's just going to figure it out from there. Okay, so now I have all the cards brought in. Because I want to keep the information somewhat condensed, apologies, I'm going to delete the artist rows here, the artist column, and I'm going to delete the set number, or the card's number in the set. Insert column, insert another column. So I'm going to start assigning some indexing values to the different cards. So I am a little bit backwards in the way that I look at colors, so you might have to bear with me on that. I go white, green, red, black, blue. That's the way I've been doing it since the start. I didn't realize that people do it differently, so that's going to be the order that I run in. So white being 1, green being 2, 4 for black, 2, 2, 1, 1, 4, 3, and I just work my way down and get through this whole list. Now this may be a little bit boring, but just watch me go. It doesn't actually take very long. 3, 5, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Part of why I'm going through this process is I just want to show kind of the amount of time that these things take, and just give you a sense of the process and how it works as a whole. I know that there are more exciting things in the world other than watching somebody go through a spreadsheet full of values, but that's what this video is about. So there we go. Okay, we've got a multicolor card here. I'm just going to put all the multicolor cards at 7 and then sort through them later. There's not a lot of multicolor in this set, so I don't feel the need to really break that down in terms of the different kinds of multicolor. In a different set, like Return to Ravnica, I did a fairly detailed breakdown. So 1 through 5 are the monocolors, and then 6 through 10 are the different color pairings, and then 11 being artifacts at the end. Four, 1, 5, 4, 5, 1. Okay, and then the lands will all be a 6. I'll just mix them in with the multicolored cards. Perhaps I'll separate that out later, but okay. 2, 7. Yeah, I put those at 7, right? 5, 3, 4, 6. 2. Feral Contest. That doesn't sound like a green card, but it is. 1, 4, 3, 5, 5. Okay, so that's a color sort to start off with, and I've left the commons, uncommons, and rares all intermingled for now, just because of the way that I'm looking at it right now. Format? No. I want to sort the data. It's under data. There we go. Sort by column A, and that's going to organize everything based on color identity. Now, just checking to make sure that I haven't got anything out of place in here. And it looks generally good. Okay, so now I'm going to start separating out the creatures and non-creatures. I'm just going to put an X in this line if one of these objects is a creature. And it looks like this has already been sorted out for me. Well, more or less, eh? Not quite exactly. But this is good. It's actually making it quite easy. I guess that's just because of the sort that I'd used originally in magiccards.info. You can gain a certain amount of efficiency by getting the list a certain way to begin with. But I find that I want to have a lot of different values in the spreadsheet that I can use to sort the data. And a couple more here. Okay, so at this point I want to sort all the information first by its rarity. So sort by column F, rarity first. Then sort by column A to get its color identity. Then sort by column B. Okay. So right now we're looking at a picture of uncommons, mythic rares. Let's move this stuff around here. Let's move the rares down. At this point, I shouldn't have to sort everything together as a group anymore. Lots of times from here I'll be sorting just the commons or sorting just the uncommons, so I won't have to wade through, well, I was going to say wade through as much information, but that's not quite correct. I won't have to redo this process that I'm doing right now, I don't think. So commons, uncommons, rares, mythic rares. I'm going to insert a row in between each, just so that I have a visual break. And let's start sorting out and making decisions on how the cube wants to come together. So I said that's 198 commons, 54 uncommons, and 18 rares. Now that makes up the whole cube. If, for example, with this cube, I was going to separate out the packs and do 2 packs of Zendikar, 1 pack of Worldwake. Obviously that means we're at 6 rares. 6 times 3 is, I guess, 18 uncommons. Rares, and then for commons, so it's going to be 11 times 6, which is 66. Great. Hey, that was easy enough math for even me to do. So 66 commons, 18 uncommons, 6 rares. What are we looking at for colorless in this set? There's a few colorless commons. Walking Atlas, Kite Sail. So there's some things I'm going to want to have, plus the land. So let's say we did, out of that 66, if we went to 50, that's 10 per color. That would leave me with 16. So I think we want to go to 55, which is 11 per color, and then 11 colorless spells. Colorless commons, and then 55 monocolor commons. So this gives us some targets to shoot at when we're sorting through the cards. Uncommons, similarly, let's have a look and see. We don't have a lot in the way of uncommon lands. We've got Everflowing Chalice, Hammer of Rune, and Razor Boomerang. Razor Boomerang was a bit of a thing, but I don't think it's going to be that useful in cube. So, generally speaking, with the 54... Oh, wait, that doesn't apply at all. So, 18 uncommons. If we had 3 colorless uncommons, it's 15. That's only 3 per color otherwise, which is about what we're going to get away with. And I think that's going to work out well for us. Oh yeah, do that there. So, 15 and 3. It's like an unset. Okay. And then rares. So 6 rares. Eye of Ugin. Yeah, right. That doesn't work with this set at all. Oh, but rare lands. We've got these rare lands. Basilisk Collar. Forget what Amulet of Vigor was. I don't think it was that spectacular. but basilisk color for sure. So that's great actually. That leaves us with 5 rares and one colorless rare. One colorless rare. Okay, so this is something new to me, but I'm trying it out, and it should be a lot of fun here. Is we're looking at separating out and doing a separate pack of Worldwake, and this is our criteria for what's going to go into it. So if we're looking at 55 monocolor commons, that being 11 per color, that means we can start going back up here, and we just take this selection of white cards. Oh, we do have something out of place. That is a 1. I feel like something's gone wrong here. But maybe it's just my ability to do basic things. That could be what it is. Arbor Elf is definitely not red. Vastwood Zendikon is also not. Alright, well, that got a little out of whack, but not too far off. Data, sort. If I just tell it to sort by column A, it should just keep everything else in the order that it's in. It doesn't really mess with it, so that just corrected the mistake. Now I want to have things sorting by converted mana cost, and I'm not sure if this is necessarily going to work correctly. Most of the time it probably will. So let's just go sort by column E. What did it do? No, it didn't do that right. And I think I do remember doing this last time, is just going down and creating a list of converted mana cost. Two, 1, 5, 5, 2, 4. 2, 5, 1, 3, 3, 1, 2, 4. Okay. And then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The sort on this one's going to be a little bit more complicated than the other. So data sort. Now again, I want column A, column B, then by column E, my converted mana cost. So that's now got everything sorted the way I want to have it. Let's go insert a column ahead of this one, and here I'm going to start working with the numbers a bit. So insert rows, just throw a couple numbers in there, and then do an auto sum down to the bottom. Make that bold. So this is going to keep track of my numbers as I go. So I definitely want to have we don't have a lot of cards here, but let's say we wanted 1 Guardian of Zendikon, 2 Join the Ranks, 1 Iona's Judgment, Rest for the Weary. I can't recall that one in particular right now. Marsh Shredder, yeah. Battle Herda, one of those, and say we wanted 2 Apex Hawks. So we're getting really close right now to the point where we don't have any more space. Since this is a cube constructed format, I'm not really too concerned with having copies of everything in here, but you know, it's better to have a higher density of good playables. let's take a look at Veteran's Reflexes and Rest for the Weary just for a second here and see what they are. mtg.com. Going to gather. Veteran's Reflexes. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn and untap it. Rest for the Weary. Gain 4 life, gain 8 life. I don't recall that really being a big thing in this format. This is a fairly aggressive format. +1/+1 and untap. I mean, that's pretty good. But quite honestly, only having, like these 2 and 3 drop creatures, that sort of thing, I really do want to have more of. I'm almost tempted to put in a Fledgling Griffin instead of a Marsh Threader. Let's put in a Marsh Shredder, I think. So that's got 11 white commons, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth of humming and hawing and making these decisions differently. Choosing different routes to go. Like I said, I haven't created one before where I did where I separated out the packs. I did Innistrad Dark Ascension, and I just did it as combined. It didn't really matter what the expansion symbol was. So let's auto sum that. Wow, what did that have? What did that do? Did it just completely copy that whole? Oops. Anyway, so I'm gonna go for same sort of thing. I'll work my way down there, and commons, uncommons. That's relatively easy. Rares and mythic rares. Now this is a fairly new thing for me. Is I want to be putting mythic rares in my cubes. Previously, I was looking at cubes for more newer players, and I kept the power level of the rares fairly low. I wanted the format to focus itself around the more powerful commons and uncommons, and be less about the rares. But I'm finding that if you want the cube to really be a fun experience, especially for established Magic players, you really do want to have those powerful rares. And before, even though I kept the power level low, I did want to have finishers, because I didn't want games of Magic to stall out and not come to a logical conclusion. But now it's more about really exciting, splashy, fun rares. So I only have 6 slots. One of them is going to be colorless, and that one's going to be a Basilisk Collar. And so for only having 5 more rares in here, it's possible that I'll want to just look at mythics even. So Admonition Angel, what does that one do? Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may exile target non-land permanent other than Admonition Angel. That's pretty nuts, although this is a very fast format. I'm not sure how much we're going to want to have big drops like that. And I'm at a standstill with Planeswalkers as well, because one of the key features of my cube is I want to be able to draft it without sleeves. I like the cubes to be fairly inexpensive and easy to use, although, like I said, I am starting to up the level of the rares a bit. But, I mean, no one could really be happy about playing a Jace the Mind Sculptor without sleeves. Drafting it, banging it up, throwing it around with your friends and stuff like that. It kind of pains me to think about the idea of doing something like that. Nova Blastworm, Rexiel Risen Deep. I will go big in green decks. What's Nova Blast? Although I do remember from Zendikar, I want to push kind of a green-blue archetype as opposed to something like green-white. I mean, that's pretty powerful. But it does push people into green-white. Not sure how much I like that. I do like the Avenger of Zendikar. Um, it's just a great beating of a card. Abyssal Persecutor, oh, geez. I mean, he was something that seemed to want to go better into Constructed. He didn't really make a play in Constructed, but you can't win the game unless you can kill him. I'm just not sure if that's going to be any good in a limited deck. And then Dragon Master Outcast. I'm not sure about his utility. Let's see. Oh, no. If you control 6 or more lands at the beginning of your upkeep. Yeah, that's insane. Okay, so we'll get one of those in there. Now, this feels a little bit weird because I'm not going all the way around the table with mythics. You know, black, I'm probably not including a mythic. White, I'm probably not including a mythic. Having it in green and red, interesting. Like I said, I'm trying to push green-blue a little bit. So that's leaves something for them. Black, yeah. Okay, so let's go looking into white, black, and blue rares. So for white rares, Marshall's Anthem is pretty good. But Talus Paladin is probably the pick. Archon of Redemption, let's see. You may gain life equal to that creature's power. It's a very fast racing format. 5-drop is not all that much. He's a 3/4 body. He's a flyer. And the life gain can really help to swing a race. On the flip side of that, Talus Paladin. Now, this also depends on what rares I'm going to be putting in the other packs, too, for Zendikar. But, you know, recognizing that we're going to be drafting this pack first, you know, if someone gets the white ally signal, then it kind of encourages them to go down that road a bit. Let's see. I think that I'm going to be supporting the ally sub-theme a lot in the Zendikar packs. I probably have a rare in the Zendikar packs for the allies. And just having something that's a little bit more open like the Archon, I think might lead to better drafts a bit. Okay, so that's that. We said black and blue were the other two colors that I was looking to put a rare into. Butcher of Malakir is one heck of a beating. And I won the Ruin Sage, eh? Let's see what he is. Each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature. I do like that. Not sure how hard I want to push the vampire as a synergy. You know, I like the 10 life part of vampires a lot in this set. But I don't know how much I want people just drafting them because they're vampires. Calastria Highborn, geez, I should know this card. It saw some play in Standard. Well, I don't really play Standard. Right, and that's another one that pushes people to go, I'm going to draft vampires. So I think I'm just going to probably run the Butcher of Malakir. But Agademo Cultist, I should check on that one too. So this is pushing the ally thing. Oh, jeez, that's a nutty beating. I like that effect actually a lot better than the Butcher of Malakir effect. I think I'm going to go with that one. Okay, so we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rares. Oh, blue. We're missing blue. Okay. So this is not the format with the card draw guy, or not the set with the card draw guy. Quest for Ula's Temple, as cute as that is not something we're really looking for. Thada Adele, who are you? Folk Rogue. Yeah, no, you're not the one. Goliath Sphinx, no. So, I think we're going to go for the Shapeshifter here. It's probably the pick. I don't want to go into something like a Goliath Sphinx. I don't think. Then again, blue-green I'm running as a... no, I do want to. In fact, I made a decision that I was going to cut allies out of blue and green to push the ally players into white, black, red. Taking some pressure off of the blue-green drafters because, again, the format is so aggressive, and those three colors tend to push such aggressive decks that I really don't want people playing those colors to be kind of drifting their way into green and blue and taking out some of the better cards. So in this case, I think I'm going to go with a big giant flyer as my finisher there. If you want to look at him, for anyone who's not familiar with the card, and I seem to not be too, although I played a fair bit of this format. So just a big 8/7 flyer. He'll end games pretty quickly if left unchecked, and because these are control decks, or more control-ish decks in those colors, the 7 mana shouldn't be a problem. So that's kind of my decision-making process as I go through and start to sort these pieces out. Looking at archetypes, looking at how to have a fair bit of synergy in the cube. The cube becomes its own format. It's not the same as drafting Zendikar and Worldwake. It's not intended to be, and that's just a different experience entirely. So the picks that we're looking at are going to be of a bit of a higher level. Every now and then, I do like to include some mediocre playables or lower end playables if I really like the design of the card and I just want to show that this card came from this set, so that when I've got players who've never seen these sets before experiencing this draft, that they can have a look at some of these more unique cards or more unique effects, and and then they know for their casual constructed decks or whatever else they're working with, they can have some idea of what sets these cards came from. So at this point in time, I am not really thinking about building any cube formats that I haven't previously played. I'm finding that just the intricacies of a format, as you experience it, you learn how it comes together, you play with it. There's so much information revealed there. You learn so many things that for myself, having started in Lorwyn, to go back and look at building a Time Spiral cube or a Ravnica cube, I would just be so far out of my depth. I'd be making all these choices based on the abstract thought of what are the most powerful cards, what is good, without knowing how that specifically plays out in that format. So, like something with Return to Ravnica, understanding the great importance of 2 power, or 2 toughness, 3 power, 3 toughness, 4 power, 4 toughness sort of thing, is what that actually does. Like 4 toughness in the format is a really substantial thing, and until you really get to know the formats, you don't really know these subtle nuances, and so the cube that you build from those cards might end up needing to still have a lot of work done to it in order to bring it up to a level where you're happy with the finished product. I hope that gave you some understanding of maybe how to build one of these cubes on your own. And I should be most of the time, I think, available to answer emails and questions through Twitter or other media. If you have them, but yeah, hope that helped, and take care.